We are officially one regional championships and one grand challenge into regulation age, so I figured there would be no better time than now to do an updated tier list for the current format. Now, looking at the listing here, obviously I have broken it up a bit more than normal because I do think right now we are in a pretty diverse metagame, right? There are a lot of Pokemon that are pretty good right now. Because of that, I kind of wanted to split the tiers up a little bit. I guess just a brief rundown, the S tier is for the best of the best. The A plus tier is obviously going to be that next tier, just a little bit below that are maybe, potentially S tier, but, kind of on that, borderline, I guess. A obviously is incredibly good Pokemon. The B plus and B tier will be Pokemon that are very solid. C tier is probably a bit more niche, and the D tier is the probably, the don't use tier. I like to normally, do the don't use rather than the F tier, but, there are a lot of Pokemon that I think, you can always find a niche for them. It just depends on what level in which you're trying to play at, right? So, for me, yeah, we're going to go for this. D will obviously be, the bottom of the tier list here because I don't want to do a, an F tier. But anyway, jumping on in here, we have Venusaur. Venusaur for me is probably just a B tier mon. It's not bad on Sun right now. It does have some cool coverage. It can do a few different things. I'm a fan of like Life Orb 3 attack in Sun. You always have growth as well. It has access to things like Weather Balls. You can go for things like Fire Weather Ball. We've even seen things like Focus Sash, Sleep Powder, get some use as well. Cover Cloak's also not too bad, but the mod has a lot it can do. It just feels a little bit underpowered in the current format. Charizard, probably on the same tier. I almost want to put this thing in like the B plus tier. Because I have played Charizard Sun, and I actually do think the mod has potential. I would say its biggest issue is, it's too reliant on the sun. Without the sun, it doesn't really do enough damage. And the issue is you kind of have to lead things like Charizard Torkoal or like Charizard plus like Whimsicott with, Sunny Day. And again, while the potential's there, it feels like the mod needs like way too much help to actually, really get going. Blastoise, this is one that is a little sad because like Blastoise kind of has a lot of things going for it, right? It has things like Fake Out, it has Yawn, it has Icy Wind, it has really powerful Muddy Water. Sorry, it has Muddy Water, it has really powerful Water Spouts as well. The issue is the mod just has like its offensive stats like base 85. 85 special attack, yeah, sure, Torkoal's the same. Difference is Torkoal's the slowest mon in the game. And it also has Sun. Maybe if this guy was really fast and had Drizzle or really slow and had Drizzle, maybe we could talk about it. It does have Shell Smash, I guess. But again, kind of requires just a little bit too much setup. Arbok, this thing has access to Intimidate. It has access to Glare, but it is simply just understated. Pikachu, pretty much the same. The only reason Pikachu's probably even on this list is Light Ball. And yeah, this mon, it's a little too slow. Like maybe if Pikachu was like 110, 115 speed, like similar to Raichu, we could see it do a bit more. But yeah, sadly, it's a baby mon for a reason. It doesn't have the stats, and yeah, the D tier is where it goes. Raichu, I feel confident probably putting this thing in the B tier. Its ability is incredibly good. The best archetype in the metagame right now, obviously, is Archalot on Rain, or at least one of the best, I should say. It's a very good Focus Sash holder, has access to like a fast Nuzzle, has fast Fake Out. Obviously, the Lightning Rod is very good into Archaludon because you can't just spam out your Electro shots. But really, the mon is understated. And it honestly feels one of the best niches in the game right now, and it still sees no play for a reason. But look, I think on the right team, it could definitely do something. The Alolan variant, I'm probably just gonna put it in the C tier. Surge Surf is cool, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure it lost access to like Expanding Force. Yeah, I don't really know what the mon does. I don't think it's very good, sadly. Regular Sandslash, D tier. It's understated, and there's better Sandrush mons. Like, I think I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a Alolan Sandslash in D as well. Technically, like, it is a better Slush Rush user than this is a Sand user, but like Snow right now is like, it's bad. Like, I think if you're gonna run Snow, you're running like solo Ninetales, not not like Ninetales with friends. It's just, yeah, sadly it's not that good. Both Clefs, I'm gonna rank them alongside each other here in the A tier. Both are very good. Both fill very different niches. Baby Clef, it has Friend Guard, it has Follow Me, Helping Hand, all that kind of stuff. Very, very good redirection mon, especially under Trick Room, right? If you're playing a faster team and you need help in Trick Room. This Pokemon with Min Speed plus After You can, help you underspeed a lot of things. It's not, amazing into things like, Hat and Torkoal, even a Moongus can kind of struggle. But anything faster than those guys, Clef is pretty damn good into. And Big Clef also right now does fill a pretty good niche as well. Unaware into Dondozo is fantastic. It is one of the better fairy types right now. Has a lot of different support moves, right? You can run things like Icy Wind, Helping Hand if you want. And yeah, there's just a couple matchups it's really, really good into. Again, safety goggles plus follow me is really good into Amoonguss, which keeps rising. The mental herb stuff is really good into Mouse Ape as well. So yeah, they're both pretty damn good redirection ones right now. Regular Ninetales, I'm probably gonna, it feels bad putting it in the C tier. I'm gonna just put it in B tier simply because of its ability. But it's just outshined by Torkoal. It's not fast enough, it doesn't do enough damage, doesn't have enough utility. I've convinced myself it's C tier. It's not that great. Regular Ninetales, I'm probably gonna put this thing in the B+. It feels weird for me to put it with the Clefs. Honestly, the Clefs might even get moved up later. Ninetales right now is really solid. It is definitely one of the better screens mons right now. It's a good mon in terms of, being able to change the terrain. The weather on rain right now. Obviously, Freeze Dry is incredibly good into Pelipper. And even like Blizzard plus Freeze Dry into Archaladon, while it's not amazing, it still does do, a decent amount of damage. And they normally do go for Terra Grass as well. So, if you are able to pin it, like what Paul Chua did at Baltimore, where, he has the Garchomp, he has the D-Knight, he's kind of able to force out that Terra Grass, and then eventually Ninetales can come in and deal a lot of damage. So it does have a cool niche there. Wigglytuff, I don't even know what this thing does. It's in the D tier. Same goes for Vileplume. I think is this thing? I think it's like a super slow like Chlorophyll. It's like Chlorophyll with like 50 speed. Don't run it. Same with the Moth. Don't run it. I feel like we're gonna go through a string here. These guys just have 0 stats. If they like had a bit more bulk, like to use their offensive stats, that'd be cool. Golduck, I will say it has a niche of being a swift swimmer, and Cloud9 is also interesting. Maybe you could make this thing work, but I don't think it's amazing. Primeape is cool, and I've seen people attempt to make this guy good. Realistically, it's not. Just use Annihilate. Like, yeah, you can do stuff with like Anger Point and like, what is it? You can go like Smeagol Surging Strikes to like get Rage Fist plus like Anger Point, so you like max attack, 3-stack Rage Fist. Run Annihilate, it's just better. Both Arcanines is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and put them both in the B tier, I think. They're both pretty decent fire types, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Hisuian variant the regular variant even see a little bit more play. I would say the Hisuian version, its issue is like, I don't know, Rock right now doesn't feel super amazing. Like there are definitely matchups where it does, like if you're going up against things like Talonflame Hyper Offense and whatnot, it feels good. If you're going up against like Volcarona Balance, it also feels good. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the consistency of these bonds. They just feel like they don't do quite enough. I would definitely say they're like better than Charizard and Venusaur. But they're definitely not any higher than this in my opinion. Poliwrath, this is one of our many Urshifu clones. Citrus Berry plus like Swift Swim and Drain Punch is Belly Drum, Citrus Berry, Drain Punch is kind of interesting. I'll put it in C tier because like I think you can use it. It's just not optimal. Same with Victory Bell. I used this thing last year in the Kitakami Cup, and I mean in a lower power format maybe it's okay, but it's just worse Venusaur. Don't run it. Tentacruel, VGC wise, I don't think this guy does anything. Same with the Golems. Like they're slow. They can function under Trick Room, but they just have like no special defense. They don't have the power the Ursalunas have. They're just bad. Both variants of Slowbro. I think regular Slowbro is probably C tier, and this guy's probably D tier. They're just Trick Room bots. Like they can do some things. Like we've seen Slowbro do okay here and there, where they're like Yawn, Trick Room. They have Recovery. It's okay, but they're nothing special. Magneton, just use Magnezone. Doduo, I mean, you don't really do anything. Dewgong, simply, I mean, I don't know. This thing's also kind of bad, right? Like, we saw that one team a couple patches ago, or a couple formats ago, that actually, like, kind of did something. I don't know, man. I don't think it's good. I'm gonna... I mean, it just feels so bad putting it on the same tier as some of these guys. Like, it gets Fake Out, it gets Yawn, I think it gets, like, Horn Drill. I don't know. It's D tier. Muck, you're also D tier. Simply because if you're gonna play a Muck, play this one. I'm gonna put it in the B tier and no higher. This guy clicks like minimize. He gets like Power of Alchemy into like Moody from Smeagol, and then he like starts boosting up. And honestly, I'm gonna put it in C tier simply because Haze is everywhere. But yeah, he starts boosting up. He passes like a Co-Star Flamigo, and then it's just kind of what it's whatever. Flamigo's best ability right now isn't even Co-Star anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in C tier. If you can get it going, it's alright. I don't think you should waste your time. Cloyster, you're D tier. You don't really do anything. Your setup sets are too low. You don't have really the ability to, you know, kind of snowball a game even after a Rochelle smash, especially when, again, Haze is so prominent. It's just not a good mon. Gengar, I'm gonna put Gengar in the B tier. It's seen a bit of play. It's definitely dropping off, but it's a fast Haze mon. It's one of, you know, the better fast special attack and ghost types as well. Into like things like Goldango, you can force out a Terra. Also one of the, you know, the best offensive poison types as well. Probably could even go B plus. I'm gonna go B plus for now. I might move this down later depending how the tier shapes up. But yeah, it's definitely decent right now. Pairs incredibly well with its Shadow as well, Clefable. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hypno, if you guys didn't see, this guy here just got day 2 at Baltimore. Basically, it did like one thing that like no other mon did. I think it was like Imprison, Trick Room, and Expanding Force, while also having Insomnia, so it can't be put to sleep by a Moongus. It filled this like really, really specific niche on the team, but it was like the only mon that could fill that one niche, which is kind of cool. For the Electrodes, I would say the what are you from? The Hisui version is like better, but they're both pretty average. I mean, they're the fastest mon in the game technically. They get access to like Electro Web. They have things like fast Volt Switch. Probably both D tier, but I think this mod actually has some potential. It also has a fast Bullet Seed as well for proccing things like Scarf Annihilate. Also pretty decent as well with what's his name, Archalodon as well. So like you can self-proc stuff with it, which is kind of cool, I guess. Both forms of Eggy. I know people in the comments in the past have told me this thing has stuff it can do. I'm just personally not really a believer in it. Like, for me, it feels weird to say these things are as good as, like, Ninetales, right? Maybe this guy here is, like, decent in Trick Room, but I don't know. This guy here is, like, not really. The Alolan variant, at least, it sets Trick Room. It has that Dragon typing. It can deal a bit of damage. Both Hitmon forms straight into the D tier. They're not good. If you're going to use a Hitmon, use Hitmon top. Even then, Hitmon top right now is completely outclassed by the Hitmons. We have the Weezings. So, interesting thing about the Weezings is I think there is a legitimate argument to make that the regular version is better, but everyone seems to be playing the Fairy variant or like the Galarian variant because of its Fairy typing, I think. I'm gonna just say they're probably both B tier. The thing with these mons is on the right team, they're really good, right? If you build a team like what Wolf did with Galarian Weezing, I think it could be really good. They're also really good as well in like best of one, right? Because when you don't have, you know, like you've kind of got to play around this like Galarian Weezing lead. Maybe your team's super reliant on abilities and it's like really hard to play into. You know, maybe you over prepare for the lead and then all of a sudden you kind of get beaten by what's in the back. I do think they also pair pretty damn well with things like Dragapult as well, which is nice. But yeah, both are pretty damn solid. Rhyhorn, Rhyperior is just better. You click minimize, you're a bad mon. You're also just a bad mon with no stats. I know people have been playing Scyther. It has seen a little play. Like, it gets a Violite, which, like, makes it super tanky. I'm pretty sure it gets, like, SD plus dual wing beat. Probably just, like, a C tier mon. My goat right now, though, holy shit, Electabuzz. This mon has absolutely surprised me in this format. It feels really hard to not build a team for me without this guy. It's very bulky on the special end. It resists things like Goldango. It resists all the steel attacks, right? It's very, very good into rain right now. Basically, Archalodon has to drop a Draco on you. And because of a Violet plus really good special defense, it actually kind of doesn't do that much. Like, you kind of need to get 1 or 2 Electro Shots off to actually one-tap this thing with a Draco. So it's really, really good there. It obviously gets things like E-Webs for speed control. It has Vital Spirit, so Amoonguss can't put it to sleep. It does have Follow Me, so, you know, Pokemon like Amoonguss have to spore into this. They can't, you know, ignore you like they do with, what's it called? With Rage Powder. So very, very good mon. I think Electabuzz, unironically, is one of the better mons currently out of Gen 1, which is kind of crazy. Magma is just a worse version of Electabuzz. I'm still going to put it in the B tier because it does definitely have niches, right? Obviously, has Vital Spirit. I would argue Flame Body is probably a bit better than Static. Obviously, it has access to things like Will-O-Wisp, but also has a really powerful stab with things like Overheat as well. It just, you know, it's very similar to Buzz. It's just Buzz currently, with how good Rain is just a bit better in my opinion. Very, very similar roles, but yeah, I would definitely go Buzz. When it comes to the Tauruses here, definitely these two are just bad. Don't run regular or like either of the regular forms really. But the other two are really good. I'm probably going to say B plus tier. In a metagame that is currently being dominated by steel types, it is really nice to have fast, powerful fighting types. We also have, obviously Goldango right now is really, really good. Which, the water one doesn't necessarily struggle with as it does resist it, but it can't really threaten a one-shot into it, where the fire variant can. Obviously, close combat's really good into Gambit. It's really good into, what's it called? The bridge as well. And again, the bridges right now, they're all running things like Terra Grass. Having the fire coverage there is really, really good. Obviously, Goldango as well. You can Flare Blitz that as well. You also have access to Will-O-Wisp, making you kind of annoying. Both normally run the Mirror Herb, both of which are really, really good into King Gambit as well, because you intimidate it, you get +2, and it feels really, really good. Yeah, definitely two of the better fighting types in the metagame right now, and two of the better fire and water types as well, which is definitely really cool. Gyarados is a mon I think is criminally underrated right now. I'm going to put it in the B+ tier as well. This mon obviously has Intimidate. We're in a metagame where the water types honestly feel kind of bad. Primarina is definitely the best water type in the game right now, I think. And even then, I definitely think it's kind of dropping off, right? Or at least it's up there with like probably Dozo. But yeah, Prim is still good. But I definitely expect to see a rise in in Gyarados, especially with like things like Garchomp rising. This mon also does have a pretty solid matchup into Dondozo as well, right? Because it can't Earthquake you. It doesn't really want to Wave Crash you. And Order Up, it can do a bit of damage, but you pair this thing with like Citrus and you can eat like 2 or 3 and just cycle. So yeah, definitely a really solid mon. Lapras, just don't. I mean, the mon doesn't have the stats really. Ditto on the right team can be good, but I just don't think the current metagame suits Ditto. What Ditto wants to do is come in and steal a Calyrex Ice or a Calyrex Shadow Rider. And then the current metagame, it just can't. Vaporeon does have access to Haze. There are like talks of this guy potentially being like one of the Dozo answers. Because thanks to its like ability Water Absorb, you can kind of just like switch in on Dozo. You got enough bulk to like take whatever you want. You can click Haze. It can also like Calm Mind. I'm pretty sure it still gets Scald as well. So there's like a niche for this thing. I can't really put it above the C tier. Jolteon early in the metagame was really, really interesting because it what's it called? It was like a really fast electric type, and at the start of the format, there was definitely like it was okay, but I think you just want to use Electabuzz right now. But if you want like a fast choice specs electric type, this thing's honestly not bad. Flareon, it's funny because technically this is like the hardest hitting fire type in the metagame. The issue is you need like you've got to get your guts active, which you have to do with poison on this guy, which isn't bad, but it doesn't feel as good as obviously burning him on. And it gets access to things like Flame Charge, obviously like Flare Blitz as well. Its biggest issue though is it just has no bulk. Like its speed's not there, its attack's really good, but its bulk's just average. It's like D tier. Lax, I'm honestly surprised we don't see more Lax, but I mean I kind of get it. I think the metagame's maybe a little bit too fast paced for this guy to constantly just really set up its belly drums. D-Knight, probably the best Gen 1 Pokemon in the game. I'm gonna go ahead. I rate this guy really highly. Is it A or is it A+? I'm gonna put D-Knight A+, but as the tier fills out, I might bump it down. D-Knight has a lot of really cool sets right now. The Banded sets do a lot of damage. Banded, like, Terra Normal E-Speed's obviously really good into the Tailwind setters. You can, like, one-shot Talon and Whimsicott, which is cool and kind of force their Terra out early if they're Ghost. The AV stuff is also really, really nice. I like AV plus coaching. You pair it up with things like Blaziken, Choice Scarf, Annihilate, and you like coaching and Assault Vest D-Knight, and like you're so bulky already, like you're maxed out HP, you've got Assault Vest, now you got +1 defense, +1 attack. It gets really, really scary. And of course as well, we've seen like the Paul Chewer stuff where he was, going like Protect 3, attack with Lum, just to make you like really good into a Moongus as well. Inner Focus in the current metagame is obviously really good, can't intimidate, can't, Fake out. And Multi-Scale is also really cool. I think we just saw Joe UX9 do really, really good in the GC running Multi-Scale plus Earthworm as well, which is definitely really, really cool. Yeah, okay. Dude, I didn't realize like Gen 3 had like no mons in this game. It just feels like maybe there's just a lot of Gen 1 mons thanks to the forms, but that's whatever. Meganium, bad, don't use it. This thing has no stats, no utility, gets no bitches, it's bad. Typhlosion, you have like slightly faster Eruption than Hisuian, but Hisuian's just better, so don't use it. Hisuian Typhlosion honestly feels kind of bad to put it on the B tier. I definitely don't think it's worthy of the A tier, so I'm gonna say a B+. Obviously, it's a relatively quick one on the current metagame. 95 is honestly pretty solid. It has access to, Eruption of 117 base special attack, which is really good. And obviously, you pair this thing up with Sun, and Eruption is going to rip through teams. I would say it kind of fell off. I feel like maybe like a couple weeks ago, it was probably A tier, but with the rise of things like T-Tar, And you know, like a lot of dragons. Like we're seeing honestly people running like 2-3 dragons, which is kind of nutty. But it's still very good. You put it on the right team in the right position, and it's fantastic. And you know, the two teams Wolfie has used and made public in the recent weeks had tie collision on both of them. So if he believes in it, I believe in it. For Alligator, you're interesting because it's like you have sheer force, so like Life Orb's good on this mon, but like I don't know, dude. I don't think the DD stuff's good. I love the Gator. I don't think it's there. It's like interesting. People run it. I don't. I think it's more of a meme redirection mon. I'm gonna put it in C tier because like you know I feel like it has some niche if you're gonna have some of these guys here. It has Follow Me. That's kind of it. Noctowl, I'm sorry, you're bad. You have no stats. Same with you, Iraq. Like, these mons here, I'm just gonna like, put them all here. They have no stats. They have no, like, utility. They're just kind of bad. Yeah, all of them. I mean, like, yeah, no, they're bad. Arzu, I actually think Arzu's probably a little underrated. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. I think with how much rain's running around, if you can, like, get this guy belly drummed up, all of a sudden you start one-tapping everything. Like, +6 player off is going to, like, run through an Archaladon, even if they get some defense buffs. And Aquajet's just going to kill all its friends. So I think that one's, like, maybe okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. You're bad. Polly's my goat. I absolutely love Politoed. I hate that Pelipper is just better in the current metagame. I understand why Pelipper's better. Like, Hurricane just feels really good right now. But Politoed's still the goat. We've seen it get some results. It is a slightly worse rain setter, I would say, than Pelipper. But definitely has a niche. Jump Bluff, you're also going into B tier. My guy Joe UX9, he's back on the Jump Bluff grind. It's a Chlorophyll mon, it's incredibly quick. It's like base 110, so with Chlorophyll it gets super fast. Has things like Spore as well. It has a really quick Tailwind. So yeah, a lot of stuff it can do as a support in Sun. Sunflora, you also have no stats. Quagsire, you also have no stats. Espeon, I mean, I know it gets like skill swap shit. I'm gonna say D tier. It doesn't really do anything. Umbreon is a good mon. I just don't think it fits the current metagame. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's really bulky. It has things like Foul Play. It has things like Snarl. So it always has a niche. It just feels like in the current metagame, it's not as good as it was in the restricted format. Crow, this is probably an easy B+. I understand why people aren't playing Murkrow anymore, but I definitely think it has some cool niches as a support. Like, it is slower than Talonflame and Whimsicott, therefore it can always win the Weather War. It also gets access to Quash, which I think is incredibly good right now. It's also a dark type, so it can't be priority taunted. Yeah, it has like both weathers, rain and sun. It has Snarl, it has Brave Bird. You know, there's a lot I think Murkrow can do right now on the right team. I'm going to say both Slow Kings are probably just D tier. I think if you're going to play any of the slows, you go slow, bro. Baby Fluttermane. You ain't Fluttermane. Fortress, I mean, you're bad. Scizor, like, honestly, Scizzor's biggest issue is, like, technically, if there was some fairy types, it could be good. I'm going to go C tier simply because it feels wrong to put it anywhere else. Like, the SD stuff's pretty good. Bullet Punch in the current metagame really isn't it. And I would say its biggest issue is, like, arguably the 3 best mons in the game are all steel types. And you're a steel type that doesn't really do much else. Heracross, I actually had this thing in the builder yesterday. It's not good, sadly. Ursaring, Yuzo Saluna, Makago, you're bad, Skarmory, like, these guys here all have no stats at all. Houndour or Houndoom, I'm not gonna lie. I put this guy in the builder a couple times. Has some interesting niches, right? Early birds, like, okay into things like Amoonguss. It does have that fire dark typing, which is ever so fucking beautiful right now. It's an incredible typing into the big 3. Obviously, with a fire dark type, you're incredibly good into Goldango. You resist both at stabs. Into Archaladon, if you're able to change the weather, you can do a lot of damage there as well. And also into things like King Gambit, right? You resist, you double resist its moves while also being able to fire off damage. Its biggest issue is it has like 70 HP, 50 defense, therefore it needs Focus Sash. And yeah, it's just, I'm going to put it in C tier because I think in the right hands, this mon could actually do something. Its issue is it's so low stats. And on top of that, it also just has bad abilities. Like, I'd say if it had solar power, but then you can't run Focus Sash, so I don't know, probably just C tier. Kingdra, it's a rain sweeper. Like, in a metagame where, like, Basculegion didn't exist, I think this thing would see a lot more play. But Basculegion just outclasses it in every way. Donphan, D tier, you're not as good as Great Tusk. P2, controversial. A+. it's A or A plus. Like, this mon's so bulky right now. It's like the best Trick Room setter in the game. If your opponent doesn't have knockout, you just spam recover and never die. Has access to insane coverage. You have Ice Beams for the guard jumps picking up. You can have Thunderbolt if you need it for rain. Terra Blast is obviously incredibly good. Terra Flying and Terra Fighting are both really good right now. Flying is incredibly good into things like the Rillabooms. Terra Fighting, if you get the boost, allows you to one-shot King Gambit, which you normally get too, because Gambit has like no Spadef and a shit ton of defense. So I think, might be a hot take, I think P2 is really freaking good. Yeah, Stantler, just play weird here. We have the guy Smeagol. I'm going to put Smeagol in the B tier. I actually think this mon's underexplored. I'm shocked I don't see it more. I've put this guy in the builder quite a few times. I think this guy has, like, I wouldn't be so shocked if by the end of the metagame, this guy was A tier. It's just no one's playing it right now, and there's probably a reason for it, but when you can learn every move in the game, there's always a niche for you. Hitmon top, I mean, Fake Out, Intimidate, Wide Guard, Close Combat. It's got so much going for it, but like, Incineroar exists, so you're in the C tier. Blissey, you're bad. And then the final one of the Generation 2 starters, T-Tar, my GOAT. I've been playing it the whole format. I would say T-Tar is in a position right now where it's kind of falling off. I'm going to say B+ tier. I definitely think it's better than these guys. I think if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, it was easy A tier. But it feels like Sneasel is like on every team right now. The steel types, like a King Gambit, a +2 still does like over 50% to you. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. If like Gambit has like redirection from like Clef, you can't touch it, and then it still 2-shots you anyway, and like you resist it and are meant to be really physically defensive. So yeah, it's kind of sad there. Sceptile, my GOAT. In the current metagame, like it has a few things, right? Unburden's cool. I don't know. I think Sceptile right now is, it needs to play in a restricted format with Miraidon to really see any play. This is my favorite Pokemon for anyone who didn't know. It's probably second now, actually. Chiyu's my favorite, but yeah, I don't know. I think for Sceptile, as much as it pains me, it's probably D tier. Don't touch it. I actually think, unironically, you're better off using one of its pre-evolutions, because they do almost the exact same thing, but they're more guaranteed to get their Sash. That's the one thing I dislike about Sceptile right now, is you don't really want to pair it with Rillaboom. You don't really want to pair it with Indeedee. And so you've got no other way to actually make use of Unburden. I would say if Citrus Berry Shed Tail worked in the sense that you Shed Tail, switch out, come back in with double speed, I think Sceptile could actually be decent. But because that's not how the mechanic worked, it's D tier. Blaziken, this is a mon if you asked me a week ago, is Blaziken good? I would have put it straight in the D tier. My guy, Ryan Sableye VGC, opened my eyes. I played his team, unironically, really good. Focus Sash is incredibly good in the current metagame. Fighting and Fire is just such a good combo right now. Again, you look at the best ones in the game. It's Goldango, it's King Gambit, it's Archaladon. Guess what? None of them like a CC except for Goldango. Goldango half the time are clicking Terra Steel anyway, and guess what? They still get absolutely bopped by a Flare Blitz. Also, fun fact, I didn't know this. Max HP King Gambit, who's Terra Darks, still gets one shot by close combat. Not to mention, coaching in the metagame, really good. Again, there's a lot of partners. You can pair it with your own King Gambit, right? You can pair it up with things like D-Knight. You can pair it up with Dragapult. There are a lot of ones that like coaching. And I think, you know, having its stats, having access to, you know, things like the Flare Blitz and the close combat, Blaziken, unironically, very, very good. Swapper, this is another one that pains me, because this one finds its way into my builder a lot and doesn't really ever make it out of the builder. It has a lot going for it. Offensively, it's a good ground type. You know, it has good bulk. It has access to things like Wide Guard. Like, I think there's a niche there. I'm gonna put it in the C tier, but I don't know. It's just like, just use Gastrodon, man. It's as much as it pains me to say, just use Gastro. Mightyana, no stats, no bitches. Ludicolo, you'll probably C tier. Like, Ludi's one of those weird ones, because I did think early in the format it would be good. I just think Ludicolo gets outstatted, right? In a metagame where, like, one, the best mon in the game isn't Kyogre, it feels kind of bad. But two, it's like, in rain, there are mons with just better stats, right? Like, Basculegion, Archaladon, they're the two most common rain partners, and there's a reason for it. Their stats are just better than a guy like Ludicolo. Shiftry, I mean, I've seen Shiftry around. I'll put it in C tier. Windrider is definitely interesting. Pterodark Sucker Punch of this thing as well also, like, slaps, but, I mean, realistically, there's better mons. Pelipper, this is a straight A+ tier. The best archetype right now, in my opinion, is Rain, and it is the best enabler of Rain. It is just very, very good. Hurricane and Weather Ball both do a lot of damage. And again, Focus Sash is incredible, and Pelipper is one of the best Focus Sash mons in the game. Guardy, I've seen Guardy pick up. I'm probably going to say, it feels weird. Part of me wants to say B tier. I don't know if it's as good as some of these mons on this. Yeah, probably is. Blaziken might even go up. I don't know. But Guardy, I mean, look, it's a fairy type. It's a psychic type. It pairs really well with telepathy next to guys like Garchomp. It's really good on like Disquake spam as well, where, you know, you used to see things like, you know, Rotom and Garchomp, because you can obviously, you know, discharge next to Garchomp. You can Earthquake next to Rotom. And you can do both next to Gardevoir thanks to telepathy. So, has some niches. It's one of the stronger fairy types in a metagame where fairy types are really, really thin. But yeah, honestly, it's not too bad. Masquerain, no stats. Breloom. We did see a Breloom recently do really good. I'm going to put it in the C tier. As much as I love them on, it does feel like it kind of needs to run loaded thighs, but I feel like its best set is just Sash. It's the fastest Sporemon we have in the game naturally. I think Smeargle... Oh, actually, I think it's Speedrun Smeargle. But yeah, it has fast Spore, has, you know, stab close combat. Bullet Seed as well is pretty nice. I'm just going to say C tier. Slaking's a mon, if you'd asked me, like, again, a couple weeks ago, probably goes into, like, the B tier. But for now, C. It fits in nicely on these Weezing teams. It does a lot of damage, and there's, like, things you can do where, like, you can lead Slacking and then, like, attack and not have Weezing next to it, and then you can pivot in Weezing the next turn and keep going. You don't have to lead them next to each other, which is cool. Hariyama, it's an interesting Trick Room mon. Obviously, it has Guts. Probably just going to say C tier. It has Fake Out. It has Close Combat, which obviously both are really, really good. But yeah, unfortunately, its bulk just isn't that nice. Ridiculous HP, no defensive stats. Nose Pass, you're bad. Sableye definitely has a niche. I'm probably going to say B tier because I think it's better than the C tier. There's a lot it can do. It has Fake Out, Quash, Willow, has dual screens. You know, this one has a lot, right? It has a Stab, Foul Play. I just don't know if the current metagame is good for it. I think it also gets T-Wave as well, which is like super annoying. Medicham, no stats. The Plusle and Minans have no stats. Illumise and Volbeat, I'm going to say C tier, putting them together. They're very, very similar. They get access to like dual weather. They get access to Tailwind. We did recently see one do pretty well at Baltimore where it was like no offensive moves. I think it had like Encore, Tailwind, Weather. It's like fake tiers or something. I don't know. Like they get a really, really good support kit. The issue is they've just got no stats. If it wasn't for Prankster, they would definitely be in the D tier. Yeah, Gulpin, you're bad. Camerupt, honestly, feels like it should be higher, but it's not. It has Fire Ground Coverage, which right now is really good. It also has Stab Eruption, which is also really good. It's just, if you're going to run this guy, you may as well run, Torkoal. Who I'm going to put, is Torkoal A? I don't think Torkoal's A. I'm going to put him B+. Obviously, slowest mon in the metagame that matters. Has access to Drought. It also has access to Stab Eruption. I would say its biggest issue is Rain is just really good right now. And also Cheetah is also kind of good, which is a free switch in. A Solvest Cheetah switches in on this thing and takes 0 damage. You're bad. So do the guys in the Discord. Altari is also bad. Zangoose. Someone once commented saying that like Swords Dance Facade Toxic Orb was good, but I don't know. I just don't believe in it. Survivor, you're also just bad. Like these guys, again, these guys have no stats. They have no utility. I love you, Crawdon. I wish you were good, but you're not. Milo. I think this is another underexplored mon in a metagame where the water types are pretty thin. I do think Milo could be, you know, should see a little more play. I think it has Scald, it has Muddy Water. It does have access to Haze as well. I would say the biggest issue Milo has is because Haze is so good, it's harder to play this mon. Because the best set is like the Coil Hypno stuff, right? Where this mon has, you know, really nice HP. It also has really nice special defense, solid special attack. And you just like coil twice, put everything to sleep with Hypnosis, and then you spam Muddy Waters. And yeah, if Haze wasn't so prevalent thanks to Dozler, I think this one would actually climb up a bit more, but I think it's solid in the B tier. Bayonet, yeah, you're not good. You're just not good. Dusclops could be a hot take. I think it's B+. I think Clops is really underused right now. I think Clops' biggest issue is just it doesn't put out any damage, and it's not able to buff mons like it did in the past. Like, obviously, we saw, like, Brick Break weakness policy stuff with the Blood Moon Ursa Luna, but yeah, I don't know. I think Clops is, like, it has a lot, right? It has a lot. It's bulky. It has Haze, right? It has Will-O-Wisp. Nightshade's also really consistent damage. Like, it's actually a really good mon into Dozo. It sets Trick Room. Yeah, maybe a hot take. I think this mon's a little underexplored. Maybe it's like in the B tier, but I do think it's pretty solid. We've got another just 4 useless mons here. Again, these mons, like, they don't have niches, sadly. They're just no stats, don't really do much. My guy, Salamence, though, been picking up quite a bit recently. We're seeing, like, the choice specs, the life orb stuff. Works really good on rain. You know, people are using it as, like, a Tailwind setter as well, where it's like, yeah, I don't have priority Tailwind, but I still do set Tailwind. Very, very good. Obviously, it's a dragon type, which is pretty good right now. One of the faster ones, too. It does outspeed a majority of the other dragons that are kind of seeing play right now, which is definitely cool. Metagross, probably in the B tier. I actually expected to see a lot more of this, and we've kind of seen not. Part of me thinks it's C tier. I'm gonna leave it in B tier because its stats are just that nice, and it's a steel type. But yeah, I think its biggest issue is it's competing with all the steel types, right? Like, again, we'll get to it later, but you know, spoilers, there's 3 steel types in the S tier. And when you're a steel type and you're outperformed by the other 3, it's, yeah, like Gambit's also so good. It feels, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I've convinced myself. It's so hard to justify this mon when like Gambit's like almost like the most played mon. Same with Goldengo. Like Goldengo is #1 right now, or at least I think maybe Rillaboom's like slightly ahead of it, but it's like Goldengo's #2, King Gambit's #3. They're both steel types. They resist both your stabs, and they both hit you for super effective damage. It's just, yeah, it's kind of rough, man. Torterra, I love this guy. It has a lot of utility. It has Shell Smash, but if I'm putting Sceptile in the D tier, I am not putting Torterra any higher than that. I will say Infernape, my guy, my goat. Firefighting, very, very good. It's a solid focus sash mon. Blaziken, probably just a little bit better right now. Empoleon as a competitive mon, could definitely see it getting some use. But yeah, it's kind of just outperformed by a lot of the other, you know, the water types right now. Staraptor is a mon we're not seeing at all right now, but I could definitely see a world where it kind of picks up. Obviously, it's a, you know, it's a choice scarf user. It has Intimidate. It also has Final Gambit as well. Has, you know, a bit of stuff it can do. It's a really powerful stab Brave Bird, so I'll say the C tier. Kricketune has no stats. Luxray is outperformed. Rampardos is one of the worst rock types of all time, sadly. I did actually see some play, but not enough to make me want to put it any higher. Yeah, Vespiquen, you're also just like bad. Pachirisu, out of respect for Sage and Park, will put it in the C tier. Sadly, it's just outclassed by a majority of the other Follow Me mons right now. Like, why run Pachi when you can run Electabuzz the Goat? Yeah, it's kind of how it is. Floatzel, outclassed by a lot of the other Swift Swimmers. Gastro, probably solid B tier. Has really good matchups. Like, technically, it does just, like, hardwall Rain. Obviously, it can take Electro shots. It also eats, you know, Weather Balls. But I would say, like, you know, and it's also really good as well into Tabasco Legion. Offensively as well, it has Earth Power to hit into the Archaludon. You also have Water moves as well to kind of, you know, do damage in Rain. But realistically, Rain has kind of adapted in a way where it's just good into it, right? Like Draco Meteor plus Hurricane is going to bop this thing. Ambipom, I love you. You're not good, sadly. Drifblim is seeing a little bit of play as like an Unburdened mon. I think they were playing it as like a Tailwind setter with Grassy Terrain, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you're not Fluttermane. Hunchcrow, unfortunately, you're not Murkrow. Skuntank, you also have no stats. Bronzong, probably going to say hot C tier. I think this mon could definitely rise up a bit. It just feels like as a Trick Room setter, it's probably a bit outclassed. And same thing, it's a steel type. If you're going to have a steel type on your team, there's a lot better options, right? Spiritomb, you are bad. Garchomp. Is this hot take? No, I'm gonna be a bit more conservative with this and say A tier. It is the best ground type in the format, not named Ursaluna, and honestly, you could even argue right now that it is the best ground type in the format. It is a dragon type that is, you know, faster than basically everything not named Dragapult. It does insane damage, and I think once people started realizing that the Terra Ground Life Orb stuff, just the, hey, I'm just gonna lock in on my offense was really good, it started doing a bit better, because it's like, oh, you're gonna switch in your Incineroar into my ground move? Yeah, best of luck, buddy. It doesn't matter if I'm -1 with Terra Ground. So yeah, that's really cool. Riolu's niche is like what? Copycat plus like coaching. Probably just not good now. There's a lot of really good coaching mons and Riolu's probably not it. Lucario, same thing. It's like the best special attacking fighting type, which actually on paper sounds really good, but it's just not when you're clicking Aura Sphere. If Focus Blast was like 90% accurate, maybe we'd see it get a bit more play. Hippo, you set weather, but like T-Tar is just better in my opinion. Toxicroak has a niche in and on rain. Obviously, with Dry Skin, it can take those water type attacks. It has access to both Fake Out and Close Combat. I would say its biggest issue is it's a poison fighting type, and spoilers, there is a slightly better poison fighting type we'll talk about later. Luminion, you've just got no stats, no niche. A Bomber Snow, like, it sets weather, but like realistically, I think Ninetales is just so much better than it. Sneasler, just Baby Chen Pao. I don't know, in the current metagame, it just feels bad. I don't think you need him on this fragile. Like, and there are so many better Sash mons. If you're gonna run Sash, run it on something else. Magnezone, man, if this guy had a better way to deal with steel types, my god, it would be the best Pokemon in the game. If this thing had like Heat Wave and you could go like Terrify a Heat Wave, you would just like counter Golden Go Archaladon potentially, and what's it called? King Gambit. It's just, yeah, that's not. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say D tier. I'm not gonna be that generous. Yeah, I can't be. Rhyperior, I think on the right team in Trick Room, this thing could be good. Technically, it does get Lightning Rod as well, which kind of pointless, but it is what it is. I think if Lightning Rod buffed both attacks, this guy would see a lot more play. But yeah, look, it's good under Trick Room. It's a ground type. One of the harder hitting ground types as well. It's just, yeah, it kind of relies on Trick Room and doesn't really do too much else. Not to mention its typing kind of is bad. Crazy to think this, but Electivire and Magmortar are both just far worse than their pre-evolutions. These guys, like, they have less bulk. It's like they have no defensive stats. Offensively, like, yeah, they hit a little bit harder, but I'm pretty sure they both lost speed when they evolved. So it was like, you didn't gain any bulk, and your speed points went into your offensive stats. It's like, oh yeah, Electivire has really good speed, special attack and physical attack. But it's like, Buzzy's just faster and has the same special attack. It's like, you know, it is what it is. They're just inferior, sadly. Yanmega is not good. Leafeon is not good. Glaceon is not good. It pains me to say this. I've looked at it a lot. I've had people tell me it has potential. Gligar is not good. It's in the D tier. Mamo as a ground type is actually really solid. I can't put it higher than C tier. Like, technically it does a lot of damage. Having ice coverage is also nice. It's just, again, I think it's outclassed by things like Garchomp. PZ, this is potentially going to be on the rise. I'm going to put it in the C tier simply because... Nah, I'm putting it B tier. Hot take, it's my guy. I love Porygon Z. I plan on trying to make it work in the near future. I love PZ plus Whimsicott, and I was actually talking to the homie Luke today. Porygon Z is, I think, Hyper Voice away from being like an A tier mon. If this guy had Hyper Voice and I could click like Choice Specs Terra Normal Hyper Voices, then we'd be in fucking business. But sadly it doesn't. But it's still a nuke. It is probably the best offensive electric type in the game. It's the best offensive ice type in the game. Just give it like Thunderbolt, Blizzard, Discharge, Electro Web, Terror into either of those types, and it outperforms any of the mons in that type in terms of an offensive piece. Gallade, this guy's probably straight into the B plus tier. Absolutely essential piece on Side Spam. If you don't have this guy, you don't have amazing ways to deal with rock types, especially guys like Tita. Obviously, Hat does, help a bit, but Gallade is just very, very good on those teams. Probo, Arse, Dust, Noia. I mean, this guy's Arse. This guy's so inferior to its pre-evolution. It's insane. Frostlass also doesn't really have a niche. Normal Rotom, Rotom Ice, and Rotom Electric, I will say I don't think are good at all. The other three forms have a niche, but I think in the current metagame, they're probably just a little outpaced, sadly. But having Levitate's cool, they all have access to Will-O-Wisp as well and really powerful stabs. So, yeah, they have a niche. I just don't think they're like too amazing, sadly. Moving on to Generation 5. Superior is like, I don't know, dude. Like, I feel like Superior could be cool. It's just not. Like, Glare's cool, Leaf Storm's cool, but it's like, it's one of those things. If Jamie Boyd's not even playing this mon, it like can't be that good. Ember also like not good. Regular Samurott also just not good. Hisuian Samurott, another mon that keeps finding its way into the builder. It's a water type, so it resists steel coverage. It's a dark type, so it resists both dark and dark and ghost. Also is one of the 2 Pokemon in the metagame with Sacred Sword, which are another big prop as well to Gallade, because it does like 60% to Dondozo at +2. But yeah, Sacred Sword as well. I think this mon's actually half decent. I think the Assault Vest build's kind of good. I think the Clear Amulet stuff's kind of good. I think the crit builds are also kind of good. I don't know, it might be a hot take. I think Hisuian Samurott actually has a lot it can do right now. Its typing's great, its move pool's great, sharpness is an unreal ability. Night Slash is better than Ceaseless Edge. We're not playing singles, take more damage and take less chances to miss. Like, I don't care about one layer of spikes. It's 60, 90 versus 70, 100. And Dark Night Slash can also crit. So yeah. Zeb Striker, you're bad. Sorry. My guy, Excadrill, probably the second best ground type in the game. This is another one where if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, it was probably in the B+ tier, but I think as Sand kind of starts to drop, so does it. Also, another thing as well for Garchomp I didn't mention, it has rough skin and like mouse hold on the rise again, so that's like another really good part for it. But yeah, the Excadrill, yeah, I don't think Drill's it. Kong, a lot of potential, hard to realize. Guts is really cool right now. It's a Trick Room one that does a lot of damage. It also has access to knockoff, which is cool. But yeah, it's probably just C tier. Lavani, yeah, you've got nothing. Whimsicott, I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot of bias that goes into this pick. Probably gonna say top of B+. Obviously one of the best premier Tailwind setters in the game. It also is one of the better Sun setters in the game. And I think if we're gonna have Murkrow on B+, you have to at least have Whimsy here. But you know what? Honestly, Whimsicott's better than these pieces. I'm putting it A. Again, I'm incredibly biased. Let me know down below if you disagree with that, but I don't know, dude. I look at these mons here and just think to myself, how can you say that not a single one of them is better than Whimsicott? I'm sorry. Whimsicott on the right hand is crack. Regular Lilligant's not bad as a Chlorophyll mon. Its issue is it's outclassed by Hisuian Lilligant. This mon's just really good paired up with Torkoal. You have after you eruptions on both of them. You also have really fast sleep powders and also really strong stab moves. Close combat though is what puts Hisuian Lilligant over this one, I would say. It's also a little bit faster and physical. Crook, another guy who's been in the builder. Might be a hot take. I'm putting it in the B tier. As a ground type, it is probably number I was gonna say it's number 3, but the Ursalunas are both better than it, and we're not at them yet. But it has Intimidate. It's a ground type. It also has Stab Knockoff as well, which is really, really good. I think Life Orb is pretty neat. It also is faster than guys like Goldengo. It's very, very good into King Gambit. I think this is a little underexplored. This might be a little overrated by me. It probably belongs in the C tier, but I don't know. That's my hot take. Crook is actually like kind of fire. Scrafty is everything I want on my current team. I want a dark type and a fighting type. I want Intimidate. I want Fake Out. The issue is you just ain't Urshifu, baby. You're like C tier. Zoroark, this guy's bad. Never play him. Zoroark Hisui, this guy on the other hand is really good. Probably B+ tier. I think it's really cool right now. Its ability is like really, really neat. I played against one at my local on the weekend. It never came to a single game, but I had to play every lead like it was on lead, which was really, really scary. I ended up pulling it out in 3. But yeah, Zoroark, dude. On the right team, it's scary. Terra normal choice specs, Hyper Voice with Helping Hand also kills mons it definitely shouldn't. But yeah, really, really cool mon on the right team. Goth is Goth. I'm putting it in the B tier simply because it's Goth. It has Shadow Tag, it has Fake Out, it has Trick Room, it has Helping Hand. It's a great mon. Reuniclus is not viable at all right now. Swan is not good. Swordsbuck is not good. I'm going to speed run before we get to the GOAT here. You're not good. You're not good. These guys, they literally just have like no stats. Shandy is probably half decent. So we'll go Gussie. Gussie goes straight into the A+ tier. Part of me wants to put it in the S tier. The issue is there are a lot of pieces that are kind of good into it right now. Obviously D-Knight, a lot of them right now are running Terra Normal, so you have access to be able to just bop this thing. Obviously Electabuzz is kind of everywhere. These two are here are also very, very popular right now. That's being the 2 Clef forms. Normally they run either Terra Grass or Safety Goggles as well to kind of combat them. Rillaboom is on like every other team. Golden goes on every other team. There is so much right now that beats Amoonguss, and the mon is still A+ tier. It's just that good. Shandy has a really cool niche, being that one, it functions in Tailwind and Trick Room, I should say. It also has the highest special attack of all ghost types and of all fire types. At 80 base speed, it is a very, very good focus slash user. I'll say B tier. Might be a little overrated. But I actually think this mon does have a pretty cool niche. Haxorus, you're a D tier mon, but I will say one Haxorus tech that is cool is it is faster than Goldengo, and it has Mold Breaker, plus, what's it called? It has Mold Breaker, Dragon Cheer. So you can go Terra Dragon Goldengo, which is probably the best defensive Terra on the mon right now. And then you can Dragon Cheer it. If it has the crit item Scope Lens, you will always crit, you make it rain. So that's something to keep in mind that I thought was kind of funny. Beartick, you're a Slush Rushmon. It's just not good. Cryogonal, you're also not good. Mienshao literally went from a really good Pokemon last format to not being seen. The power of Calyrex Shadow obviously is just that high. We have a bunch of bad mons here. Yeah, Golurk is just bad. Bishop, honestly, could be cool if King Gambit didn't exist. Braviary is also... Is Braviary C tier? I'm looking at the D tier. I think Braviary C tier. Same with the Hisui variant. Like, they're kind of cool, right? It's that, like, somewhat bulking Tailwind setters. This guy has Defiant, which is, like, kind of okay. Set Tailwind, like, you know, close combat does a lot of damage. Hisuian variant, though, it has Expanding Force. Esper, whatever it's called, Esper Wing or something is actually pretty decent. Like, there's a niche there. They're just not that good. Mandibuzz, I played against 2 recently. One in the GC, one at a local. This mon is just useless. Don't play it. Hydreigon, my god, how the mighty has fallen. At the start of the format, everyone was like, yo, it's the best dragon type. And of the pseudos, it has like all of a sudden become like probably the worst. Or at least near the worst. It's not Gudra. Yeah, I'm gonna say B+. It feels disrespectful to say it's as good as like Raichu. Honestly, Raichu probably goes down to C tier as well now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna change that. Raichu's the C tier mon. I'm sorry I ever put it in the B tier. It's just not as good as the other mons up here. Volk Daddy, Bing Bong, straight into the A tier. This mon is one of the best setup mons in the game right now. Quiver Dance is incredibly good. It's one of the best offensive fire types in the game right now. And that, you know, Volcarona King Gambit balance team is one of the hardest teams to deal with. It is very, very good. Oh, geez, new generation, water time. How are we going? Like 50 minutes? Perfect. Oh, I can actually get this done pretty good. For some reason, I thought I'd be here for 2 hours. I probably won't. Granted, a lot of the good mons are right here. But yeah, no, I'm actually, we're making good time here. Wait, are the Ursalunas here? Dude, don't tell me I got a bad tier list. Oh no, Hisuian forms are here. Where the hell's Ursaluna? I might have to add the Ursalunas in at the end, but that's fine. That's a problem for the end of the video. Chestnut, I think this mon has a niche. The belly drum stuff's cool. Pair it with Rillaboom, you get, you know, +6 grassy glides. Grand Punch, obviously really nice to keep you alive. Delphox, unironically, I want to put this in the B+ tier. I think Delphox has a really, really interesting niche in the metagame. It's a fast fire type that can, you know, bop all the steel types. It pairs really well with Size Spam and also in Sun. I just realized it's not as good as the other mons, but I'm going to put it in the B tier. Delphox is good. Actually, try Delphox if you haven't. Greninja, the one thing I'll say Greninja has, I think we saw like Chance Hyde playing it. It can click Water Shuriken next to Scarf Ape and set it up. That's about it. Its typing's cool though. It's just you may as well run the what's it called, the Hisuian Samurott. Sadly, it's crazy. Like it's Greninja's like the king, like was the king of singles once upon a time, but I don't know, doubles it's just average. Talonflame, my goat. Dude, again, I feel like this is my bias kicking in, but I think it's A tier. I think it's better than Whimsicott, and I think Whimsicott's better than everything here. Yeah, again, I'm biased. I love Talonflame. I love Whimsicott. If anyone didn't know, like, I literally have these 2 fuckers on my desk. I click Tailwind, yeah. Oh, I just realized the green screen, dude, the green screen, they're both green. Whimsicott's ears and Tornadus. It's Tornadus if you can't tell. I love Tailwind. I'm biased. A tier. It's Brave Bird's good, Flare Blitz is good, Taunt's good, Will-O-Wisp good, Tailwind's good. It does a lot. It does a lot. Viv kind of shocking me right now. Like I kind of spoke about Viv at the start of the format, and I was like, hey, like maybe it could be good again, like it was in like some of the lesser power formats. It's definitely rising up, and funny enough, it's not even the Friend Guard stuff. It's the Compoundized Sleep Powder Hurricane. But again, Focus Sash is really good in the current metagame. Fast Sleep is really good in the current metagame. Stab Hurricane is really good in the current metagame. And Follow Me or Rage Powder is just good, right? You can't go wrong with it. We have another speedrun here. Bad mon. I will say Symbiosis is cool. Probably needed the Paradox mons. These guys can set screens. That's kind of about it. You've probably lost to Malamar on ladder, but it doesn't mean it's good. Dragalge is bad. Especially with how many good dragon types there are. Clawitzer, I love you, but you're bad. Sylveon, honestly, underwhelming right now. I thought this mon was going to actually... Like, I honestly thought at the start of the format, this was an ATM mon. I thought it was going to be incredible. It just hasn't been. It's still definitely one of the better fairies, and I'm sure on the right team, it can be really solid. Terra Blast, Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam, that kind of stuff is really good. But yeah, it's probably just B tier. Lucha, in a world where the Paradox mons existed, Lucha has a niche. I just don't think it hits hard enough. It only has like 87 attack or something like that. Like Unburden's really cool, but again, there's like a better Unburdened fighting type in the game. I'm gonna go D tier. Togi's bad. You're bad. Regular Gudra is probably the only like pseudo in D tier. It's bad. The Hisuian variant though could probably get on the B tier. I think it's just there because its typing's kind of cracked. It has a really good heavy slam. Honestly, like Assault Vest Special might not even be bad. Like I could see a world where like Terra Fire plus Flamethrower is like pretty decent on this guy. Keychains, you set screens, but I think Grimmsnarl is just better. Trev, I know people are probably gonna get mad because every time I talk about Trevenant, people are like, oh, Trevenant has Harvest, it can set Trick Room, blah 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 blah. In a metagame like the one we're currently in, if you're gonna set fucking Trick Room, be Porygon 2. If you want to set Trick Room, this is the guy right here. That's like not named Indeedee. Avalogs, you're both bad. I love Noivern. This thing needs a Mega or an Evolution in PLZA. Regular Decky Dewey is not Himothy. Hisuian Decadewey is very Himothy. Scrappy, very, very good. The crit sets. I said sets. The crit sets are very, very good. Triple Arrow might be the most broken move of all time. What is it, like 50% chance to crit, 30% chance to flinch? No, 50% chance to drop your defense by 1, and then it's like high crit chance with a 30% chance to flinch. Absolutely broken move, probably the most broken move of all time. And it's crazy to say this thing's B+ tier because it's the worst of the starters in this generation. Incineroar and Primarina. I will say Prim first. It's an easy A tier, one of the best answers into John Bozo. It's the best Hazemon in the game, not named probably Murkrow, and even then Primarina is probably better. Hyper Voice Moonblast is very, very good. It is probably the best offensive fairy type in the game. The throw spray sets are pretty good. I think Mystic Water, Life Orb are both really good. And Citrus Berry is also fantastic. Incineroar. This is a tricky one because Incin, it's S tier. I hate this. Like, I made a call at the start of the format, Incin would drop off, and it was going down. We saw its usage drop. It was like 6. It was like 7th place on the usage stats. And then we go to fucking Baltimore, and this thing wins. Like, it gets 6 of the top 8. It's just, it's an S tier. It's Incin. It's got it all. Fake Out, Intimidate, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt. You know, go Assault Vest, U-Turn, man. It's just, it's Incin. It's good. Speedrun. I'm sorry the Charger Bug fans out. This guy's actually kind of good, but not right now. I will say, I've seen the Dancers paired up with Volcarona. It's a wasted slot. I think in a lower power format, they're kind of cool. But not right now. I have seen like a little bit of Rabombi. I think with Sash, it's okay. I think it still gets, does it still get Speed Swap? Maybe with like Speed Swap, it's okay. I don't know. I'll put it in C tier. I'm not sure, but I feel like it, if I'm putting some of these mons in here, I feel like Rabombi can be there too. Lycanroc, it feels like it's definitely dropped off as a abuser of sand, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's still okay. Like Endeavor's pretty cool. It has Stab Rock Slide, which is good. It's a natural focus Sash user, and Endeavor with Sash is also good, so I'll put it there. This one's just bad. I'm gonna do this one for the Discord. The boys were saying that it does a lot of damage. Apparently, Lycanroc Dust Form does a lot of damage. I'll put it in the C tier. That's for the boys. Toxapec's bad. Mudsdale's bad. Spider, probably B tier. I actually expected a bit more Spider. I'm surprised I haven't seen more. I think in the current metagame, Wide Guard's just pretty average. But it's definitely one of the cooler water types. Like, again, we're in a format where Primarine is the best water type in the game. Like, obviously, I've got Pelipper above it, but, like, Pelipper's there because of Drizzle, not because it's a water type, if you know what I mean. Like, Pelipper sets up its friends. Pelipper isn't, like, some crazy water type. But, yeah, I don't know, B tier, like, maybe it could be B+. I think it's cool, right? I think, like, the Spider P2 stuff, maybe we'll see a bit of a resurgence. I love Lurantis. It's not good. So Lazzle, I'll go C or B. Probably C tier for now. So Lazzle has a lot of things going for it. Like Stab Poison right now is really cool. Stab Fire is obviously incredible. It has Fake Out as well. It has some other cool things. Like I'm pretty sure you can go like Corrosion plus Smog or whatever it is. Like there's one of those like there's a spread poison move that poisons both foes, and like you can poison Archaludon with it. And then you can like slow down the Archaludon, so it's kind of cool. Serena, I'm gonna put it in the C tier. It has solid stats. It's just we're in a meta game right now where 1, priority block's not that good, and 2, we don't have Kyogre for it to protect. Comfey, we haven't seen this mon at all recently. I'm gonna put it in C tier because of its niche as a healer. But yeah, it really hasn't seen much play. Same with the Rangaroo. Like, I thought a Rangaroo would see a little bit more play on these Trick Room teams, but it just really isn't. Like, it has the niche. I've also seen like Symbiosis as well. Like, there was one cool set I saw where it was like Blood Moon Ursaluna with like normal gem, and you go like normal gem, Blood Moon, you Blood Moon something, and then you Symbiosis take the life orb, and then you instruct it to Blood Moon again. So that was like a cool combo I saw, but like outside of that, I think it's a bit of a gimmick. Passimian is D tier, Palosand is D tier. Minior, I absolutely love this mon. I've been trying to shiny hunt it all week for a video, but it's D tier. Like, it clicks Shell Smash, and like that's about it. I think it gets like Acrobatics Rock Slide as well, which is kind of cool. Kamala, you're just like D tier as well. Mimi's like, I'm like seeing zero Mimikyu at all, but like, it is one of the better fairy types. It is a ghost type as well. It's probably, I don't know, I can't put a B tier. I'm just gonna put a C tier. It's just, I don't know. With like Golden Go King Gambit running around, it feels kind of bad. It also like tickles fucking Arch Aladon, which definitely doesn't help it. Bruxish was a mon I kind of messed with at the start of the format. I'm just gonna say it's probably C tier. It has the same niche Serena does, just different typing. And finally, Komodo. I'm gonna put Komodo in the B+ tier. It feels wrong to put it any lower. I will say, completely underexplored. I think this mon should be seeing far more results than it actually has. Both its sets, the Iron Defense Body Press stuff and the Clangorous Soul, whatever it has its 2 Soul moves that I think are really cool. Yeah, I definitely think it will pick up as the format develops. I honestly think we could see it finding its way onto these P2 teams where it's like, you know, you've got like P2 Luna, but then you have like the mode with like a Mungus Komodo as well. And obviously Incin's on that team as well, which is pretty good. Mandatory Water Break. Rillaboom, bang, straight into the S tier. It's funny that this mon literally has like really bad matchups into the 3 best mons in the metagame, and it is still the most used mon in the game. I think it's just a testament to Rillaboom. Fake Out's really good. Grassy Terrain's really good. Your ability to help set up things like Volcarona is obviously fantastic. You know, the ability to just give life to things like Goldango and King Gambit, you know, you can go Goldango like Life Orb, right? You go Nasty Plot, Fake Out, right? Maybe you take a little bit of Chip, you Protect. Oh, you just heal back, you know, like you just had 2 lefties into 2 grassy terrains. All of a sudden, you just heal back 25% of your HP. Really, really good. Its Stab Woodhammers obviously are nutty as well. I'm playing an offensive one on my current team, and like someone Terra Poisoned their Primarina in front of me, and with like Adamant like near max plus Miracle Seed, I still did like 70%. Like, it's dumb, man. It does stupid damage. Cinderace, this is another one that found its way into my builder. I just don't think it's good. It's fast, it hits hard, it has Libero, but like Libero nerf kind of fucks it, I think. Intelligent, not very good. Greedent, not very good. Corviknight, honestly, keep an eye on Corviknight. I expect this one to rise. I'll put it in the B tier for now. When I played Wolf's team, where I was like Garchomp plus Corviknight, at the start, I was like, yo, Wolf, why the hell do you have Corviknight on this team? Honestly, ended up being one of the MVPs of the team. It felt unbelievable. And I feel like on the right team, it can definitely put in a lot of work. Dreadnought, I love you, but you're bad. Colossal, dude, it's crazy how this one was so good in Sword and Shield and is so bad in the current metagame. It just shows how good, 1, its Dynamax was, but 2, weakness policy on a Dynamax mon. Flapple and Appleton are both bad. Sandaconda, it's like, just use one of the consistent sand setters. I don't think... What is... Yeah, no, Cramorant does nothing. Barrascuda, my guy Barraskeezy, the goat, you know, one of the run and bun goats, not very good. I will say the Toxtricities, I have seen one set be good where they're like, I think they go like Throat Spray plus like Boom Burst, and they pair it up with like a ghost type like Dragapult or whatever. It's kind of cool. I'll put it in the C tier. Teapot, probably just bad. I think the other Teapot's is like so much better than it. Hat, probably solid B tier mon. It's really, really good in Scythe Spam. Obviously it helps out Scythe Spam a lot as well with the Dark types. Really good into the Dragons. It's just really, really solid mon overall. One of the better fairies in the game. Grimmsnarl, another B+ mon for me. Honestly, screens right now are incredibly underrated, and its typing is also incredibly underrated. Being a Dark type makes you very, very good into Scythe Spam. Not to mention being a fairy type with Spirit Break is really, really good into a lot of, 1, the special attackers in the format, but 2, just a lot of the dragons. Because honestly, if you get on Twitter and you look at some of the top guys, we had guys like Sempra, Joe UX9, all running like 2, 3 dragon types on every team, right? And because of that, I do think having a strong fairy is pretty good. I will put Berserker in the B tier. Simply because I've seen people rising up again with this mon on those Dozo Golden Go teams. I had a game the other day where I wish I remembered which mon it was. I led something that resisted Goldango, and it Terra Steeled Make That Rain and one-shot a mon that resisted it, and I'm just sitting there dumbfounded. I'm like, holy shit, how the fuck did that just happen? Like, it just one-tapped the resist, like, from full. It was insane. It wasn't a squishy mon either. I really wish I remembered what it was, because it was kind of crazy. Alcremie, if you're gonna use Decorate, just use Smeargle. Phalanx, sorry to my guy Spring, it's not good. Frostmoth, unironically, okay, B tier. It is probably the second best Quiver Dance mon in the game right now. Funny enough, with Terra Water, you just like 1v1 Volcarona as well. Because if they ever Terra Grass, you beat them with the Ice Stab, and if they don't Terra Grass, you beat them with the Water Stab. And also like the other Terra they use is Dragon as well, which loses to it. And funny enough, Ice Scale is kind of broken in matchups against other special attackers. Who would have thought? I've actually used it, and I thought it was pretty decent, and I've also lost to it, and I'm like, wow, I actually, like, someone in the GC beat me with this guy, and I was like, damn, I got T-Tar, and I just got clapped by a freaking Frostmoth. It's kind of crazy. Stonejourner, hot take, it's in the B tier. If you're like me, and you like playing Qian Pao, you know, you like playing Chi-Yu, you don't have them. But what you do have is a Stonejourner with Power Spot, raising your attack. I did test out Bandit D-Knight plus Stonejourner. It's actually pretty good. It also gets access to Wide Guard. It has a strong Rock Slide. It's a very good Focus Sash mon. Honestly, it has a decent speed tier for a Focus Sash mon. And it has really, really high attack as well. It's like base 120, 130 attack, which is kind of crazy. And it also gets access to Low Kick. And again, with a really, really high attack stat, very good into things like King Gambit. So yeah, very, very good. And make it, sorry, and also having Wide Guard as well makes it pretty decent into Goldie as well, which is pretty cool. Ice Skew is bad. The two Indeedis for the first time in a while are probably both in the same tier. They do completely different things. Obviously, female Indeedee is a very good Trick Room supporter. You can set Trick Room, you have Helping Hand, you have Follow Me. Very, very good at setting up things like Armor Rouge, Hatterene, you know, leads very well with Gallade as well. Basically anything that wants to abuse Side Spam under Trick Room, female Indeedee is very, very good with. Also not bad as well with my guy Delphox, who I had, you know, just before. But male Indeedee right now also has a really cool niche, because for anyone who doesn't know, this was the Indeedee that always had Trick Room, right? Female always had Follow Me in the past generation, never had Trick Room, where the male Indeedee was the Trick Room setter. It has kind of flip-flopped a bit, but what you can do right now with the male Indeedee is really cool, right? One, it's a bit faster, a bit more offensive, so it's very, very good with Focus Sash, as it is less bulky. It does get access to both Expanding Force and Hyper Voice. It also gets access to Trick Room and Imprison. So you can use this mon to, like, one, shut down opposing E-Force teams, right? So, like, if you go up against Side Spam, it, like, hard walls it, man. It just completely shuts it down. But also, too, having access to things like Hyper Voice is also really, really good into things like Zoroark and into Blood Moon Earth Lunar as well, that both really like clicking Hyper Voice. Morpeko, love this mon. It's not good. Agent Raj, Copper Raja, one of the boys was asking about in the Discord the other day. It's not good. Don't try it. Duraludon could actually be cool if its evolution wasn't arguably the best Pokemon in the game. Dragapult, my guy, Polteezy, straight into the A tier. Honestly, you could probably even make an argument it's A+. This mon is incredible. It's the fastest mon in the format that is actually relevant. The Choice Banded Terra Dragon stuff is really good. The Choice Banded Terra Ghost stuff is also really good. It pairs incredibly well with Sneasler, who, by the way, we're going to pull Sneasler up here as well. Put him in the A tier so I can talk about him together. Dragapult, what's it do? It Terra Dragon, Choice Banded Dragon Darts. What eats that? You got Steel types and you got Fairy types. What beats that? Close Combat Diaclaw. These two, honestly, right now, are pairing up to be one of the craziest offensive combos in the game. Sneasler is one of the fastest mons in the game at base 120. Dragapult is the fastest mon in the game at 142. They're incredibly good together. Dragapult has base 120 attack. Sneasler has base 130. Sneasler is an incredible Focus Sash mon. It also has access to Fake Out. It has Close Combat. It has Diaclaw. Diaclaw plus Poison Touch is one of the most broken combos in the freaking game. They are both incredible Pokemon. Definitely Pokemon to keep an eye on. Weirdeer, it's a bulky Trick Room setter that's just, I mean, it's Porygon 2 is just better. Cleavor probably also is just bad. Regular Ursaluna though, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. I think, yeah, it's A tier. Regular Luna, incredibly good. I did play quite a bit of this on like a Murkrow Sun team, and it was like the best one on the team. Spoilers for the team I played, it was like Murkrow, Chi-Yu, which is my Choice Specs Hydreigon Terra Fire. We also had Typhlosion on the team. And it was just like a general Sun team, right? And then regular Ursaluna was like the best one on the team because you pair it up with Murkrow and then you just go like Tailwind and then just start clicking EQ and it's kind of crazy. Facade to one-shot those Rillaboom's as well. So yeah, really, really cool. The Basculin Legions, I'll put the female in the C tier. I think it is cool, but definitely not as good as the male variant. Male has Wave Crash. Wave Crash, good. It's in the A tier. Last Respect's also arguably the most broken move in the game. Overquill, a lot better at the start of the format when it was like a Swift Swim Hazemon, but I feel like it's kind of fallen out of love as a Swift Swimmer. Yeah, I'll put it in the C tier, I think. Meowscarada, really solid mon. Put it in the B tier. Very fast. It has obviously, you know, stab knockoff. It has Flower Trick for the guaranteed crit. Also is a pretty good grassy pledge mon as well when paired up with Primarina. So it's not too bad there. I will also say Skeledirge, while the usage doesn't say the same. Actually, you know what? Meowscarada is B+ tier. Skeledirge is B tier. So is Quackleval, and I'll kind of explain them real quick. Skeledirge is, in my opinion, a bit underexplored. I think the Throat Spray stuff's honestly not too bad. I would say its biggest issue in the current metagame is it is a Terra Hog. Because one, it's a fire type, which again, incredible into the big three mons right now. But its issue is it's a ghost type, which again, into things like Goldengo, not amazing. And into King Gambit, also not amazing. But its bulk's there, its signature move's pretty damn busted. And yeah, honestly, I think we could definitely see it rise up a bit. Also has Unaware as well, so makes it pretty damn good into Dondozo. Especially if you are able to bait out either Terra Grass or Terra Steel. Quackleval, a mon I didn't think I was going to put here. If you guys are interested in seeing a video on Quack, let me know. Because there is a team that originally the homie Mr. Multiboy, aka Lewis Tan, showed me that he was playing. And then I also saw Sempra got like rank 1 in the GC as well. I think he dropped off and didn't quite finish rank 1. But Quackleval Rain is very good. Choice Band and Quackleval with Aqua Step does a stupid amount of damage. And I almost lost to it when I played it. It is very, very good. Yeah, Choice Banded Terra Normal in Rain. Definitely consider it. Also having a, you know, Choice Banded Close Combat in the mirror is very, very good for Arch Aladon as well. And wow, we're actually up to, yeah, we're missing Blood Moon Ursaluna. I can fix that though. I'll fix that, right? How am I missing Blood Moon Ursaluna, man? Alright, I'll fix that at the end. I'll fix that at the end. Anyway, Oinkolones, they're both bad. Spidops is bad. Low Kicks is bad. Pawmot, actually gonna put it in the B+ tier. At the start, like when I saw guys like Wolf running Pawmot, I'm like, why the hell are you guys running Pawmot? Turns out it's like the best offensive electric Pokemon in the game. And it's probably the second best fighting type in the game. And right now, we don't have any good electric types, especially on the physical side. And we are really, you know, really thirsty for some good fighting types. Obviously, as I said, Sneasel's probably the best one. But yeah, Pawmot, probably above the Tauruses. It's above Gallade. It's above Hisuian Decidueye. Honestly, it actually feels kind of bad putting him on the same tier. Like, I'm probably going to drop Decky Dewey down. And I'm probably going to... no, I'll leave the Tauruses there. But yeah, Pawmot, very, very good. Not to mention, fast fake out. Also has Revival Blessing as well. So, has some cool stuff we can do. Mouse in the House, straight into the A tier. I was actually thinking Mousehold was kind of dropping off. You know, the Frank Guard stuff was kind of getting a little underwhelming. People kind of figured it out. And then some guys just said, hey, Pop Bomb's still broken. And we saw Paul Chua. If anyone saw Baltimore, it was like Paul Chua wins game 2. Game 3, game 2, his opponent side Pop Bombs his Archaladon. It's like, shit, okay, Archaladon ends up like beating Paul Chua. And then game 3, Paul was clearly not ready for it. It was just Pop Bomb straight into the D-Knight, one-shot it, dude. It just removed it. My team I was playing, again, I built my team like 3 weeks ago. I ran into an a Mousehold on the weekend, and I was like, holy shit, my team doesn't have a Mousehold matchup, and it literally claimed 3 KOs before I could touch it, which was, yeah, definitely kind of crazy. Spidops, I thought I put you in the bad tier already. Dashbun, if there was better Lava Plume users, you could probably be higher, but you're not good. I'm sorry. R-Believer, I am an R-Believer, and I know I'm going to get a comment for putting you in the D tier, but I don't think you're very hot. You're just kind of average. The Squawker Bellies are both bad. Garganackle, I think it has a niche right now. Its signature move is really cool. It has Wide Guard. It also has like a resistance to Ghost type moves, so like it can't really take much damage to Goldie, which is nice. Armarouge, probably B+ tier. I think it's better than a lot of the ones in B tier. Obviously, like the side spam heat wave stuff's very good. Armor cannon is the best fire type move in the game right now in terms of just single target damage. It's very reliable. And also has the meteor beam power herb stuff, which is definitely really cool. Sarah Ledge, absolutely love this mon. I kind of hope it rises up a bit more, but I'm gonna put it in the B tier. It has some sets. You know, we've seen, you know, obviously the clear amulet bulk up stuff. We've even seen like grassy seed bulk up stuff. It's a cool mon with, you know, a lot of potential. Again, fighting types right now are pretty damn good, and if your name is not Incineroar, like there are good ones, like Talonflame's good, Volcarona's good. But yeah, it doesn't really feel like we have any like crazy offensive ones, at least on the physical side. So definitely think that mon has a niche. Belly Ball, I love this guy, and it's another mon I think I'm going to get comments about, but I'm going to put it in the D tier. Killer Wattrel, probably C tier. It's a fast Tailwind mon. It can also click Discharge next to Garchomp, but that's kind of it. Mastiff Boss, I love you, you're bad. Grafai, dude, anyone who doesn't know, Grafai, one of my favorite mons introduced in this generation, and it really got cucked. I would say in the current format, not good. Keep an eye out for the next format though, where I pair this thing with Miraidon. I played it quite a bit. Unburden plus Acid Spray is not bad with Miraidon, I will say. The Weed, I mean, it's actually crazy because like this mon was seeing a bit of play last format, but I think without the genies, it's just not good. It doesn't pair incredibly well on Tailwind teams right now, so I'm gonna go D tier. Toadscruel. It feels weird to put it any higher than C. Obviously it needs the Weezings to function, and Wolf did an amazing job of showcasing it. And if you guys didn't try out Wolf's team, I would recommend it. It was a lot of fun and actually really, really powerful. And Toadscruel has a really, really good speed tier from the current metagame, and it's just one of those situations where I think if it didn't have Massilian Might, it would probably be a B tier plus mon, but it just isn't, sadly. Clorf is bad, Scovillan's bad, Rabska's bad. Esparthra has a niche. I'll put it in the C tier. It has speed boost and a really, really broken signature move, but that's about it. Tinkerton, feels bad to not put it in the C tier. Obviously, incredible typing. Gigaton Hammer is incredibly, incredibly good. One of the faster fake out mons of the game. Also gets access to things like Mold Breaker. But really, it's, you know, offensive stats kind of just let it down a bit. Wugtrio's bad. Bombardier's bad. Palafin, dude, I'm still a believer in this mon. I'm going to put it in the B plus tier. I do think it's better than most of the mons in the B tier. I think people just haven't played with it so long that they're kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. And then I also hear a lot of top players say like, oh, like the metagame's like too offensive for like Palafin. But then like every balanced player out there just leads Incineroar. It's like, oh, the meta's too offensive for Palafin. It's not. Just go. You can play it with like Incineroar, Rillaboom, dude. Don't kid yourself. It's good. It's like one of the. It is probably the most offensive water type in the game. Not to mention it's a Haze user that's like really good into Dondozo as well. It's good. It's good. Yeah, I don't think you're very good, sadly, Revroom. Cyclozar. I think Cyclozar suffers from the same issue Sceptile does, which is if you're gonna go a Shedtail mon, just go Earthworm. Speaking of Earthworm, it's here. I'm going to put it in the B tier. I think this mon's really good. I think D-Knight plus Garchomp has become one of the best combos in the game because of how it's like able to pin, what's it called? It's really, really, really good at pinning Archaladon because it's like, oh, do you want to take like the Stomping Tantrum, or do you want to, oh, sorry, the Earthquake, or do you want to take the Terra Flying Terra Blast, right? And yeah, I think it's really good on those teams because you can put Earthquake on both Garchomp and D-Knight, and then you can always pass the sub over to your multi-scale D-Knight so it can't get intimidated. And then you can also start clicking DDs, which is pretty damn cool. Glamora, personal favorite of mine. I'm going to put that right in the B plus tier. It's still incredibly good. I think the Meteor Beam stuff's good. I think the Focus Dash stuff is really good. It's incredibly good on HO teams because it's really good at leading into a lot of other HO teams. You know, with Focus Sash, it's pretty good into Goldango because you can go for things like double Earth Power. You can also try to remove, you know, the Talonflames and the Whimsicots with Meteor Beam, Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, all that kind of stuff. Very, very good, yeah. Honestly, Houndstone, like, I don't know. It's just bad. I think that other Scents, I'm going to put it in D, Series C, simply because it can beat Play and Sand, but choose the other Sand ones, man. Flamigo, surprisingly, a B plus tier. It turns out Scrappy Close Combat's really good. The ability to hit the fighting types is really, really good. Yeah, it gets Wide Guard. It also has, you know, Stab Flying moves. It's a very good Focus Sash mon. Pairs incredibly well with Mr. Garchomp. Yeah, just a pretty damn good mon. So Titan, I'm going to put you in the C tier, a little bit out of bias. It's one of the better Slush Rush mons, but Slush Rush just isn't good. Veluza's bad. Dozo, Geary, straight probably into the A plus tier. Love them or hate them, they're freaking good, man. I always get told, I get comments, Dozogiri's not good. I have Haze Primarina. I have Haze Murkrow. Dozo players are adapting. If you have counters, they just don't bring Dozogiri, and then they beat you with like D-Knight, Talonflame, Golden Go, fucking Tormont, man. And it's like, oh, you do have answers? It's like, I have some cheese shit around it, or I have the ability to break your... Like, Dozogiri is good. It doesn't matter how many answers you have. Unless you're in a metagame where you've got Miraidon, who's like still one-tapping it, unless it's Terra Grass. They're still good. Ape as well, feels wrong to put it anywhere but A tier. The mod's still really, really good. Obviously, Mouse Ape has kind of been figured out, but people are now realizing that they can both function without each other. Scarf Ape right now is still really, really good. Scarf Final Gamer is obviously really nice. Scarf Coaching is also really good. There was a team I personally played it on where I had like Whimsicott plus Mousehold and Annihilate, and like you can go Choice Scarf and have it be one speed slower than your Whimsicott, but still have it be faster than your Mousehold. And so you get this weird situation where it's like you can go beat up into like Scarf Ape and outspeed like 95% of the metagame, or you can like go like Coaching into your Widelands Mousehold, and then a +1 Mousehold starts running through your opponent. So both are really, really cool. Clodsire, yeah, you're D tier. For Farigiraf, we're in a metagame where drafts were like the worst it's ever been, which is crazy because we do have 2 fake out mons in the S tier. I mean, it's still a good mon. It has decent stats. Like, its HP is really good. Its special attack's really good. Honestly, it just needs to cut a bit of its attack. Like, take 20 out of its attack, put 10 into each of its defenses. But regardless, the mon still has fantastic utility. I just don't think it's as good now as it has been in the past. I have actually seen people playing the Dunsparce. I feel like I saw some like weakness policy beat up stuff where they played like stored power. It was like you go Rattle plus like weakness policy, and then you go like Terra Psychic and then beat it up with a Mousehold, and then you get like max speed, you activate weakness policy, and then stored power starts one-shotting stuff. That's the only time I've ever seen this thing get some any usage at all. Bax Caliber does feel like it's one of the worst dragon types right now, but at least at the Pseudo Legends, I would say it's probably above Hisuian Gudra. I think this one's good. I think it's just underexplored. Obviously, Glavis Rush is kind of broken into other dragon types. And Ice type is also pretty solid. Dripplin, you're kind of bad. Teapot right now, I'm going to go with the A+ tier. I think raid boss teams are really underutilized right now, and that was something I kind of missed with Ape as well. I think Screen Ape with like no mouse is really good. Like, you go, like, Grimstyle plus, like, Annihilate, you, like, set up a bulk up or two, you have Sinister, like, healing it up. I think it's pretty good, man. Like, you have Rage Powder, you have Trick Room, Matcha Gotcha is also, like, kind of broken, you have Life Do. Yeah, I think the Teapot's actually a little slept on right now. We have Hydraplin here, probably just D tier, it doesn't really do anything, sadly. And then look at that, the three Musketeers, we'll leave them there for a second as we do Blood Moon Ursaluna. Give me 1 second to add it real quick. And wow, look at that. Due to the power of editing, we have a Blood Moon Ursaluna here. Honestly, it's kind of at the downtrend right now, but I still think it's really good. I think it's an A tier mon. The Munch is incredible. It does a lot of damage. It's one of the best special attackers in the format. Blood Moon, obviously incredibly broken move. And Earth Power is just really, really good right now. And then the final 3 here. I think the 3 everyone kind of expected to see. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Crazy how they're all at the end of the list together. I didn't actually plan that at all. But yeah, in my opinion, the 3 best Pokemon in the format right now. Rillaboom's stats are number 1, but guess what? Rillaboom can't hit any of these 3. Golden Go right now, a lot of sets that are really good. I'm personally a huge fan of Life Orb Terra Steel with Nasty Plot. I think it's incredible. The Choice Specs Terra Steel stuff is also just insane for just the amount of burst damage it can do. We're even seeing like Lefty's Terra Dragon on some of these P2 stuff where you pair it up with Rillaboom. Like I said earlier, you click Nasty Plot, you click Fake Out, you know, you protect, pivot in whatever piece you want, whether that be like an Amoonguss, an Incineroar, whatever, and then you start clicking Make It Rain or continue clicking Nasty Plot. It's incredible. King Gambit right now kind of has like 3 different sets. There is the Black Glasses Terra Dark stuff with Swords Dance. There's also the exact same set, but they have safety goggles. A lot of the time they are dropping their steel coverage unless they are playing Assault Vest. AV is still really good, like Iron Head plus Low Kick. We have even seen some people like drop SD for low kick as well, because 1, the mirror, also 2, Tita. But yeah, it's still really, really good. Archalodon right now, it's on the most broken core of the team in the metagame right now, which is the Pelipper stuff. It turns out a mon with 600 base stats an ability that buffs up its defensive stat, a move that can attack based off its stupidly high defensive stat. Oh, and then yeah, one of the most broken signature moves of all time, where in rain, you get +1 attack, a special attack, sorry, and then you hit him with like a 130 base power electric move with no drawback. Yeah, apparently it's pretty balanced. Who would have fucking thought? It's crazy. But yeah, honestly, all three of them, they're just completely outstatted. They're very, very well optimized. You know, Charlodon's attack is kind of high, but again, it's like part of the 600 club. You know, Goldango, just very, very good. And same with King Gambit. They're, in my opinion, the 3 best mons in the metagame right now. They're incredibly, incredibly difficult to deal with. I guess my question now becomes, looking at the tier list here, do I want to change it at all? I think there is a legitimate argument where you could say Amoonguss is the best of the A+ mons. Part of me feels like I could almost delete the A+ tier, move Amoonguss up, and then drop the other 4 down. Oh, how do I want to do this? I feel like I can probably just leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I think that I think D-Knight goes down. Yeah, I think D-Knight goes down. I don't think D-Knight's as good as those top 3. So top 5. It's so hard because, like, I think you could even say Pelipper drops, but like Pelipper, it's so hard to say this mon drops when it's like it is the reason our Charlodon's so good, or at least part of the reason. And like Amoonguss is the only mon that I'm like, yeah, it's definitely A+ tier. You could honestly argue it's S tier. The rest you could argue they're A tier. Like for me, I think P2 is like the medical right now. Pelipper obviously is just the engine of the best team in the game. And I feel like Dozo is the kind of mon where if you're not ready, it's pretty overwhelming. Do I want to change anything? Like any B+ mons that are gonna move up? Like probably not. They're all like probably okay there. Any of you that should move up? Like honestly, I feel like Blazing and like Delphox, you could make an argument for moving up here, but I don't think I will. Nah, I'm pretty content with that, I think. Like I dropped you down, which was like fine. Yeah, honestly, I think this is okay. Like, maybe female Basculegion could go up, but I really don't think it matters. Yeah, how about any of you guys? Anyone gonna bump up? I mean, it's almost been an hour and a half. I should probably wrap this up anyway. Yeah, look, nothing's catching my eye here for something that should be moved up. So yeah, I guess, guys, that's the list. Let me know what you think down below. Obviously, if you made it to the end of the tier list, thank you, I appreciate it. I do plan on using this list tomorrow for my next video. I'm gonna actually just be like talking about like the best ones in the metagame and kind of breaking him down a bit more. At least that's the plan right now. And I kind of built the tier list so that way I could say like, hey, let's just talk about like B tier plus, right? We can ignore all these guys in the C and D tier. But yeah, so I guess if there's anything you guys do want to hear about in particular that you think is good and maybe I disrespected it, basically anything below the C tier, let me know. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for tomorrow. And yeah, as I said, let me know what you think of the list. Obviously the metagame continues to develop. We are like, I think, what, a couple days away from Dortmund. We're also just coming off a grand challenge, so yeah, there's a lot going on in VGC right now. Yeah, anyway guys, if you got to the end of the video, thanks, I appreciate it, and yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.